Hello everyone, welcome to Boxing Science. This video is sponsored by Saga Fitness. In this video, we're going to do a Boxing Science Reacts video. So this is the first time we've done this concept where we're going to be reacting to what stuff that we've talked about. Training montages, Rocky 4 we're going to do as well. Different things that have come up on the internet. We're going to react to what's the science behind these methods, what our take is on it, and how we can change things to optimize it as well. We're going to look at Jorge Masvidal doing a 20-pound weight cut. We don't want to advocate massive weight cuts in terms of dehydration, but we also don't want to be totally saying, right, this isn't happening. It's often quite glorified as well. Like you can see here, this video, 20-pound weight cut in 6 days has got 4 million views. It seemed our kind of duty to address this. If you are going to do such a weight cut, what is the best way of doing it to increase the safety and to also make sure that it's effective as well, so it doesn't take too much out of you. So we've got Alan Ruddock here today, who's got a PhD in
thermoregulation, sports science, physiology.
He's an expert in heat acclimation, so we call him Dr. Heat for short. So we're in Dubai, it's 2020, and this is a day before the fight, where he's starting his weight cut. This is crazy at this point, because look at the title, it's 20-pound weight cut. Is there, and the doctor's coming in to do a COVID test.
Wow. I've not actually seen this video, so this is
This is a reaction. Yeah. So he's there having a COVID test. He's there losing all that weight, and the most dangerous thing is that he might have COVID. Crazy. But
so this is one of the one of the things where we talk about organisation in combat sports.
Wait for this bit. I can see that it's not very happy that he's getting that COVID test.
But organisation is such an important aspect of combat sport, just because it's a chaotic environment. And one of those things of having a COVID test in the middle there, just one of those examples of poor organisation.
So it's 174 pounds. It needs to be 170 pounds. So that's 3 hours before the weigh-in. So he needs to lose 4 pounds in 3 hours, which is
about 2 kilo.
Yeah, just under 2 kilo. A normal sweat rate, especially somebody that's sitting about 170 pounds, they'd be looking at a sweat rate at 2.5 kilos or 3 kilos an hour. And you're looking at 2 kilos, you need to lose 2 kilos, 3 hours, unless you're really dehydrated.
Unless what's happened before this.
Yeah, because you can go on like, oh, my sweat rate is 3 litres per hour, 3 kilos, so it's going to take me X amount to lose 6 kilos or 9 kilos. When you start becoming more dehydrated, your sweat rate drastically drops. Yeah. So it's always harder to get them last few pounds off, last half kilo off. But in this situation, he's probably dried out, he's got 4 pounds to go, he's dried out 16 pounds already. They're giving him the option, do you want hot water?
Well, I guess we probably don't know how he's lost that 16 pounds already. He says 20 pounds in 6 days,
he took the fight on very short notice. How else is doing it? Is doing low residue, is obviously low glycogen. Yeah. It's only so many pounds that you can actually take off through that. It's probably lost about 3-4 pounds to do that. Yeah. Mostly from this point on, it's going to be dehydration.
Well, let's be conservative then, and let's say he's lost 5 pounds through glycogen manipulation and through low res diet. Let's say 5 pounds. So now he's got 15 pounds to lose as an acute weight loss. Yeah,
you're looking at like 8 to 10% of his mass. Yeah. But I'm saying just at this point here, do you want hot water? The team needs to be assertive there. They do. Right, this is what you're doing to fill him full of confidence.
Yeah. The boxers have minimal input, really. And because they're at such a state where they can't make a rational decision and it's just too cognitively demanding for them. And like I say, you need to give them confidence to know that you're
doing it right.
You're in control and everything's going to be absolutely fine, because 3 hours to go.
That's when the panic can set in.
Yeah, and plus he's got is it 3 hours to weigh in?
Yeah.
So he's also got to get from his hotel room to...
Well, I think that the hotel room, I think that it's all in the hotel.
Oh, okay, so they come to us. Right, okay.
So it's decided that outdoors is hotter than the sauna.
Okay.
Where he's now sitting on the balcony.
So what sauna have they been using? Do we know that?
I don't know. But what obviously it's hot out there. Is in Abu Dhabi at this point. Is on the balcony. It's not going to sweat as much there because of the airflow and being in the shade
airflow. It's slightly in the shade.
Yeah.
There'll be it's high up, so there'll be airflow. When you're in a sauna's about 80 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So you tell me how it's hotter outside. Yeah. It might feel hotter because of the solar radiation.
Yeah.
But that makes no difference to sweat rate.
And also the humidity. You're wanting the humidity to be quite high. Well, they're doing hot baths and they're being in the towels. So quite high humidity. Yes. So you're looking at what, 90%, 100%?
100% if you're in the water. Yeah.
Humidity, obviously, if you're in the water, but when you're in the towels, because it's damp as well, that's going to be high.
Yeah.
When you're out there, it's about 60% humidity. So that's dropping it down.
Might be less.
Why do you need to be to increase sweat?
The driver for sweat rate is core temperature. So we've got a number of temperature sensors within our body, and you can refer to any of them: inner ear temperature, rectal temperature, intestinal temperature, esophageal temperature as your core temperature. Core temperature, or rather the signals that your thermoregulatory control centers detect, anterior hypothalamus, preoptic anterior hypothalamus, will determine then the thermoregulatory response that's appropriate. So if your thermoeffector signals are high, then it will respond with an appropriate sweat rate. So if your core temperature is high, it will respond with an appropriate sweat rate. If it detects core temperatures going down, guess what? Sweat rate's going to go down because your body wants to conserve fluid. So if it detects a decrease in threat, which is essentially what it is, our body temperature is massively asymmetric. So our body temperature is set 37 degrees Celsius. If we go to 40, 41, that's really dangerous. But it can go as low as 30 degrees Celsius and we can still survive. So there's a massive asymmetry there. So we'll do everything that we can to protect our body temperature. So humidity needs to be high because you can't sweat as effectively at a high humidity. So you can't control your body temperature. So core temperature stays high. If core temperature stays high and is stable, signal for you to sweat also maintains a high level. And so your sweat rate is maintained.
So going in sauna, being outside on the balcony, that isn't going to optimize sweat rate. Also, you're saying about the drop in temperature. It's got out, it's being cooled down, it's walking about like topless without being wrapped up. I had a little sauna there. It's got everything in this room. Okay, hesitant.
All the gear.
It's hesitant to get in.
I mean, you can tell with his body composition that he has taken this fight on short notice.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more fat. You can start seeing like it's sinking in a bit like behind the rib cage as well. It's looking dehydrated. This is interesting now because he gets in the bath. Timer's going on, I think. I haven't seen a timer, I haven't seen a laptop, I haven't seen anyone take his temperature.
No.
They're all key things that you need to do. We have the laptop to monitor people's sweat rate. Also, what the body temperature is. He's looking ill there. I think that was the grading. Taking the temperature of the water with like a infrared gun, which is getting the surface. It's not getting the full volume. You need to, like, whenever I've done the baths, making sure that you're getting a cooking thermometer to make sure that you have it, like you're getting in the water, and it needs to, like, probably about 30 seconds to stabilize. So you're not going to get a true reflection on how hot the water is there.
This is a mistake that you often see, is that the bath and the temperature is only a driver of body temperature. The bath temperature is irrelevant as long as it's hotter than body temperature, and you can increase body temperature to the level that is needed to drive that sweat rate. Bath temperature doesn't matter, so there's no point taking the bath temperature. Core temperature that matters.
Core temperature. You need a good indication of what the bath temperature is to help drive it.
No point in having it cold,
so they talk about it in a little bit, whether it's about 41, 42 degrees. Sitting around about 39, that's 3 degrees higher than what it is. You might need it about 8 or 10 higher than what it is at the minute to drive a increase in body temp. As well, he's not laying in the bath, he's just got his legs in.
Yeah.
Why is it important to have your kind of trunk submerged?
In your trunk are the main thermosensitive regions. So in your trunk, we will generate more thermoregulatory, more appropriate thermoregulatory responses, because that is where our temperature sensing regions are. And these are, around here is where we can send the most effective signals to the brain to initiate a thermoregulatory effect or sweat response. Basically, it's because there's organs here, and there's an organ up here that needs to be looked after. Your legs, apart from your skin, there's no organ in your legs.
So your body isn't going to try and
it's not a thermosensitive region. The reason why you're in water is to transfer the heat from the water into your body. Think about mass that's in your lower body and how much heat it can gain relative to the rest of your body. Smaller region, small surface area, limited ability to transfer heat in. Plus, if you do get it in, that heat then has to go from your legs, it has to travel through your circulatory system to the right areas to then heat your body. It's likely going to be dissipating some heat, people walking in and out of the room, the doors open, it's not a humid environment, there's going to be people moving, there's going to be airflow, so there's going to be some convective cooling.
Putting towels on, I don't know whether these hot or cold.
Exactly,
A good thing to do is to have ice towels put at the back of the head, because that sends signals to the brain that makes you think that you're cool, perceptual, but it doesn't actually have an impact on physiological. Is he cooling down or is he carrying on heat? I think like getting a shower before you get in the bath is good to raise skin temperature. So when you step into the bath, you can get in it straight away. You don't have that hesitant like what he had there. So he's probably done that in reverse. I don't know whether he's cooling down or heating up here.
The more time you are away from a heat source, the more chance that skin temperature and core temperature will decrease and sweat rate will decrease, and you will prolong the time that you have to be under strain to sweat and lose weight.
And that'll take more energy out of you and leave you in a dehydrated state for longer.
More psychological strain. It's a good game that, by the way, Spike Ball. We'll have to play it. Got one at home.
No wrapping up after. 3:29. There's no get the towels around you, maintain that heat. That's what it needs to be doing here. It's not looking in a good place.
But I think the thing is here is that he's in such a stressed situation.
His weight's coming up.
That he feels as though he probably don't need it.
172.6 pounds, now in 45. So in an hour and 15, he's lost 1.4. What's that about? A 0.7 per litre. Litre power.
600 mils. It's
like that's when somebody's at that stage, they're in a dehydrated state, or they're not doing it optimally. That's going to be a grind to get that off.
His actual sweat rate is about half a litre an hour.
3 or 4 times less than what it should be at the moment.
And there's an hour and 45 to go. So you can do the maths and go, okay, so what does he need to get? It's 170. So he's got about 2.5 pounds. And 2.5 pounds to go. And he's sweating a pound.
An hour and 15, so
how tight is it going to be then?
It's going to be very tight at this rate.
Now, he don't look like he's in any state to do any physical exertion neither.
No. Heating up the water, back in. Wonder how many times he's done that.
Even just getting back in the bath. That simple act.
It's demoralising. Like when you think that you've got to do it again, you've got to be really structured on. This is probably how many times you're going to do it. This is the amount that you've got to lose. This is what your sweat rate is. You know, like I said, I've not seen any data recording or temperature recording or anything like that. This is why it's so important to a video like this. When this video's got 4 million views, how many other young fighters are going to follow this?
True.
Oh yeah, that's a great way on how to do it. He's lost 20 pounds.
Now he's getting a massage.
I don't know whether they've done it for YouTube purposes, but no music. I think that it might be personal preference, but it's just like...
I was just going to say the same thing.
When there's probably nervous energy in that room as well.
Yeah. 2 things that you want is to maintain body temperature, 3 things. Maintain body temperature, maintain sweat rate, reduce that psychological burden. You know, like I said, music's on.
Yeah.
TV's on.
Yeah.
People if everything's under control, people feel relaxed. You know, you can have chats with other people about random stuff.
Yeah.
And for your athlete, that's just, you know, basically sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
For their mind just to wander for a little bit, just to take a little bit, make him distracted, just take a little bit away from the stress.
To break it down.
So important.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, they go, that's the easiest I've ever done it.
Yeah. Also, like it's just saying about his mouth being quite dry. You can do stuff like mouth washes, carbohydrate, mouth rinses.
Rinse,
You can get a Lucozade with ice in.
Make it like a slurry.
Make a slurry. Rinse it around your mouth and then spit it out. That sends signals to the brain for energy and also perceptual cooling as well. Masvidal's going to come and give a flying knee after this.
So clearly got an headache.
Yeah, that's showing dehydration.
Yeah, he's got a headache because that large amount of dehydration is around the brain and the cranium, and so the fluid status around there has shrunk massively, which is dangerous.
Saying about getting ice all over the body, like after you've done it, you want to have a gradual cool down.
Yeah.
You don't want to be cooling down straight away.
How many guys are in the room there as well?
Back in the bath.
There don't need to be that many. One thing he is doing there, which is fairly important.
He's hating life right now. Oh, there he goes.
Has a bit of
distracting himself. Oh, he's not watching it.
One thing that boxers can suffer with is something called hypermihidrosis, which is where the signals to the sweat coils become fatigued, so they stop sweating. That happens if there's sweat on the skin surface. So if you can keep that dry, that's also going to help. Is this the official?
Yeah.
Another thing to check is that scale with scales in your
that's
bathroom
something
as well.
that you need to do.
In the UFC, they have this official weighing, and then they have a ceremonial.
Ceremonial. Yeah.
So now he's heading over to the ceremonial weighing.
No, I think he's just checking the scales before he goes to the.
Oh, that was a check.
Yeah.
So he's using 3 scales, right?
Yeah.
So he's using his bathroom scales, the check scales in the hotel, and then he'll step on these scales.
Yeah.
Right, so all 3 need to be aligned. Or if they're not aligned, you need to know the error between them. So it's clearly difficult to know what the error is between these scales now and the hotel, unless you send someone to go check. But it's easy to know the difference between your bathroom scales and the hotel.
It's always good to do a little bit under as well, because sometimes you can check the fight scales and they've recalibrated them overnight.
Yeah, true.
That's happened quite recently, actually.
So these are sliding scales. They're called beam balance scales. So they're not digital. So they're prone to human error.
Bias. It's made it. To be fair, I've seen worse on the scales in terms of how he is and his demeanour and how drawn he is in his face, but...
So does he pass out?
He says he nearly passes out.
He looks all right.
He looks all right to me. 20 pounds in 6 days. Hats off to him in terms of the mental fortitude that he's got to be able to do that. Dangerous to do it. We don't advocate massive dehydration like that. It needs to be controlled. It needs to be within the guidelines. You know, we can't shy away from it. This is happening in boxing and in all combat sports. So this is why we've highlighted it. 4 million people have watched that. They might go and try their methods, end up being in a dangerous situation. Hopefully you've taken some stuff away. The main key points from this is to be within the guidelines in the bath at let's say between 42 and 46 degrees Celsius. Make sure you're monitoring the temperature of the bath, temperature of the athlete, making sure that you're keeping that temperature high and then making sure that you're monitoring the sweat rate and keeping that perception of heat lower.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've enjoyed that first Boxing Science Reacts video. If you've got any comments about anything that we've discussed, or you've got any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll hopefully see you on the next video.